Hey Jason, what seems to be the problem?
Oh, these stinking gloves just don't fit right.
Well, let's talk about those gloves and the proper use. Hi, I'm John Luke, and welcome to John's second episode of John's Safety Tips. I'm here today with Jason Wolf, the Senior Safety Director from ESCO Safety, and we're here to talk about the proper use of rubber insulating gloves. Now let's first talk about the size of rubber insulating gloves. And one of the things we were taught at a young age was to measure our palm right around here in inches to give us our correct glove size. So let's go ahead and measure Jason's hand and see what size gloves Jason wears.
It's like it's about a size 9.
Well, Jason, let's first talk about inspecting our rubber insulating gloves. So I see you've got a size 9 there in your hand now. So the first thing that we want to do is do the roll test on the gloves and make sure that we don't have any holes or pinholes or anything in the gloves where we're going to be using them. And kind of use your face, and you can kind of feel those pinholes and stuff in the gloves. And then inspect between the fingers, make sure there's no holes or cuts or abrasions, and make sure that each one of your fingers have been inspected in the gloves. Make sure that when we have any holes or any possible ozone or cracking or anything in the rubber. And once you've inspected your glove, then let's go ahead and try on that glove and see how well the size 9 fits you there.
Do I have any volunteers?
All right, now before we put on the leathers, Jason, let's go ahead and take a look at the leathers also. We're going to want to make sure that the leather matches the rubber as far as the size. And I see you've got a size 9 rubber, so we're going to need a size 9 leather, and it looks like you've got that. We're going to want to make sure again that we don't have, any contamination on there, excessive oil or anything, any metal shavings, from pipe and stuff like that on those, and inspect those gloves real well. And then we're going to want to make sure as you put those on that your leather is shorter than your rubber. And if you take like a class 00 and a 0, we want at least a ½ inch of rubber exposed from that leather. And then if we move to a size 1 or a class 1, then we're going to want 1 inch of rubber showing. If we have a class 2, we'll want 2 inches, a class 3, 3 inches, and a class 4, 4 inches of rubber showing. So there is a definite, if those gloves got wet, it couldn't track over or flash over onto our hands there. So now that we've got on our leather protectors over the rubbers, and how do those fit? How's the size 9 fit compared to that size 10 that we started out with?
These are great.
Okay, and it's going to give you a lot better finger dexterity in parts manipulation when you're using the right size glove for the individual. And I guess there's just one other thing that I want to add. At ESCO Safety, we're real funny about sharing rubber insulating gloves. Now, the reason that we take this approach at ESCO is that, Jason, I just got blood on the inside of this glove. Here, you wear it. And it's bloodborne pathogens, and it's something we never considered years ago, but we don't share our rubber insulating gloves from employee to employee because of bloodborne pathogens. And so we size the rubber for the individual, and then we don't share those gloves in between people. Those are Jason's gloves. He'll use those until we test them. Now, we send them in for voltage testing every 6 months. So the standard requires that before first issue and every 6 months thereafter, we have to send them in for voltage testing. And so if you look at the gloves that Jason's wearing there, and you'll see that those gloves were tested within the last 6 months. So there's actually going to be a date on those rubber insulating gloves. Jason, can you hand me those gloves right over there? Thank you. So you'll notice that these gloves were tested on August 24th of 2012. So 6 months past that testing date or an inspection failure date, we'd want to send those gloves in for testing.
Now, John, are those thin gloves really good for 2,500 volts?
Actually, Jason, the 2,500 volts that you see on this 00 glove here, that's what they were tested to, not what they're rated to. So if you look at a class 00, you see tested at 2500 volts, but they're actually rated for 500 volts maximum use. And so if I went to a class 0, it would be proof tested to 5,000 volts and voltage rated for 1,000 volts. If you go to a class 1, it'd be proof tested to 10,000 volts, and then the maximum voltage use would be 7,500 volts. And so what's on the glove is what it's tested to, not always what it's rated to.
Good point.
Well, that's it for John's safety tip for the second episode here. I'll see you on the third episode.